We are joined live here in the studio by Audrey Gusky from Duquesne University, and you are a consumer marketing trends analyst.
I am.
It's 4 words. I was afraid. I had to
you
read
did
that because I was afraid I would stumble over one of those adjuectives. Welcome to
Thank you.
Pittsburgh Now.
Thank you, Ruthann. Good to be here.
I was blabbing a minute ago about it bothers me to go into a store and it's the beginning of October, even September now, and there's the Christmas aisle is already up, and I'm one of those people. I would not be able to work in one of those stores where the aroma is like jet sprayed on you as you walk through the doors. It really bugs me, but it's been everywhere for months, and we've got 2 months to go.
Christmas
almost.
creep, absolutely. Consumers
like
tend to get very annoyed because we aren't ready. I mean, Halloween was last night, as you said, and
it was a dark and stormy night.
It was a dark and stormy night, but for retailers now, it's the big kickoff after Halloween. Now, when I was younger, it was basically Thanksgiving, the day after Thanksgiving. Black Friday was called Black Friday because that was the day that retailers started getting into the black, started making a profit, and people were thinking about shopping for Christmas. And now you barely get through Halloween. It's even months before. Kmart has started a lot of their promotions as well, and they did that, you know, very aggressively, really early in October. Last year, Target had done that, started extremely early in mid-October, and consumers, there was so much backlash that they decided this year Target was going to wait until pretty much now, today or this week, to start really doing the kickoff.
Is anybody doing anything different? Is there more creep this year than in previous years?
There is always more creep, and it's
nothing sacred.
There's nothing sacred. Well, the sad part, the biggest creep that's happening this year is Macy's is going to be open on Thanksgiving Day. They open at 8, and they're going to be open from 8 o'clock until all night, as well as into the next day.
8 in the evening.
8 in the evening,
okay,
yes.
So
8 p.m.
They figure you're done eating, and maybe you do want to get up off the sofa, and I don't know. That really, me personally, I'm bugged by
the
that.
problem is for the employees too, because it sort of ruins their holiday with their family, and for people, you know, it's another excuse to shop. But can't you wait one more day? You know, because Halloween or Thanksgiving used to be the only traditional holiday that we had that was pure, based on family, spiritual values.
Yes.
And families could just enjoy and relax, watch some football, eat some turkey.
Nothing hanging over your head.
No. And now with the fact that the stores are going to be open, it almost encourages consumers, and to a lot of consumers it's going to be the pressure. I'm going to start tonight at 8 p.m. instead of getting up tomorrow at 5 in the morning.
It was bad enough when it was people in the dark, you know, lining up at 3 because the doors opened at 5. And remember, that horrible, there have been deaths because of stampedes.
Lots of fights and a lot of problems. Absolutely.
I need that flat screen, whatever. I'm bugged by that. You know what I would love? I would love to see a massive opt-out. Like, no, I'm staying on my sofa, because to incur the costs of fully staffing a department store and opening those extra hours, if we all just stayed home,
then they wouldn't do it anymore.
Win? They wouldn't do it. Right.
But people are shopping because people figure them off. You know, I'll rather shop. I'll beat the crowd, and maybe on Thursday, you know, maybe on Thanksgiving Day, they just want to start in motion their holiday shopping. You know, once again, it's like something to do. It's going to become a tradition, unfortunately, because Black Friday was always the tradition. You know, you'd eat turkey on Thursday, watch some football, and then Friday, everyone would hit the stores. And so that was okay. Even if it was 4 or 5 in the morning, that was still at least not Thanksgiving Day. But to be opening now, and you know, with Macy's doing it, the majority, and Target last year, and Kmart last year, and Sears, they were all open. And so I think we're going to this is not going to be newsworthy next year. From now on, all the stores are going to be open. And you're going to see it creeping earlier and earlier in the day, to the point where all day Thanksgiving, perhaps they'll be open. I personally think that's terrible, and I'm encouraging everyone to stay home. But then on Friday, go shop. You know, goose the economy, get going. Absolutely.
Are retailers expecting a good year?
No. Well, interestingly, retailers, it's almost like the self-fulfilling prophecy. They're saying it's going to be a good year because they want us as consumers to think everything's fine in the economy, go spend some money. The National Retail Federation is predicting 3.9% increase over last year. Now, that is average. That is just an average increase, because back in the day, maybe in the 80s, early 90s, we had like double-digit increases, 10, 11, 12% increases.
Years in a row?
Yes, years in a row.
And
so it was phenomenal.
I somehow missed
it must have missed you.
Plenitude.
But this year, and you know, I don't even think it's going to be that high. I think it's probably going to be closer to 3% of an increase, because consumers, they didn't spend for back to school, which is good indication. Okay. All through 2013, they have not been spending. And so I think with the economy being very shaky, people are concerned about their health care coverage, and people are concerned about their employment. I think overall what we're going to be seeing is a lot of dropping in sales. And consumers being very conservative. The good news is retailers know that, so there's going to be tons of sales and tons of bargains out there for us.
So, in other words, I may have to get off the sofa on that Thursday night if I want.
I think you can wait till Friday.
Okay, all right. When we come back, we want to talk with you about some of the trends for the holidays. Is there a new Tickle Me Elmo out there? Inquiring minds want to know. Stay tuned to Pittsburgh Now. Welcome back to Pittsburgh Now. I'm Ruth Ann Daly from the Post-Gazette, sitting in for Chris Moore, and we're joined by Audrey Gusky from Duquesne University, a consumer marketing trends analyst.
You can just say consumer trends experts, probably the easiest way.
She knows what's up in the stores, and I really dated myself there before we went to break. Like, what's the new Tickle Me Elmo? I was trying to think of what are the, it seems like almost every year there's a hot item.
Right.
And I remember the kids' toys, because of course I had to go elbow other parents to get them. But is there, now we have third graders getting smartphones, so is there really a doll, or what is it out there that
Nothing's
people are
popped
wanting?
out yet.
No?
I mean, typically it's a Tickle Me Elmo, some different kind of
Cabbage Patch.
Yeah, Cabbage Patch. We used to have Furbies, all those types of things. And so a lot of times it takes a little bit longer to surface. It's still a bit earlier. But there's always a Barbie that's like the Barbie that you must have. And as you said, electronics is going to be huge. And so, kids are going to be asking for smartphones and those types of things, and iPads, and so we're going to see a lot more of that type of thing being purchased for younger kids as we go along. Sometimes
I wonder if I know this was actually an area of intellectual inquiry a few years ago, that we've defined luxuries. So many, our parents' generation could not have conceived of what we consider these things necessary. If I didn't have my smartphone, I would really feel deprived.
Absolutely.
And we have so much that we consider necessary to life that, like, what's left to be a luxury? But are we really? Shouldn't there be a little bit more confidence if we can actually afford these things? Should we have a little bit more faith in the economy than we do?
Well, you would think, but we don't. Consumer confidence is down pretty low, almost to record lows, because consumers are afraid. They're worried about job security. They're worried about
healthcare insurance.
Healthcare, of course. And so, rather than spending a lot of money and going above the family's budget, they're going to be like Santa this year. They're going to make their list, check it twice, and try to figure out what they need, try to get things on sale, shop earlier, because they figure they shop earlier, they can get some of the bargains and some of the hot toys and hot items before they're sold out. But the problem is when you start shopping earlier, you stretch it out, and you forget what you bought in November.
Oh, I do,
as compared to what you're going to buy, a couple days before Christmas. And so my advice to shoppers is, a lot of times it pays to wait till the last minute, because there's still going to be a lot of sales. The inventories aren't that high, but there's still going to be enough opportunities, and I think the prices will keep dropping.
I find that very comforting, because I start out every year with the best intentions of being organized and getting it done, and 3 days before Christmas, I'm always losing my mind anyway.
So we all are.
What little is left to be lost.
Well, I usually wait till my finals are graded and turned in, which is like December 20th. And so that's when I actually start shopping. So I practice what I preach a lot of times, and I figure, you can get the job done. That way, the snow is falling, you're in the Christmas spirit. And it's not November, and you don't feel, it's just, you buy what you have to buy, you get the job done, and then you enjoy the holidays.
We were talking a few minutes ago about the Christmas creep and the season kind of creeping backwards, almost before the beginning of fall. And I make crossword puzzles for the Post-Gazette, and I was doing one on the tradition of Thanksgiving and the evolution of it through the last 150 years, actually. And I didn't know that during the Great Depression, Roosevelt moved Thanksgiving forward a week at the request of Dry Goods Retailers Association.
Interesting.
In order to extend the shopping season, because it fell very late. It was a November with 5 Thursdays, so he moved it forward because people would not start shopping back then until Thanksgiving was done.
Right.
They didn't. The Christmas creep is newer. They were old. Our parents were old school.
Yeah.
So and there was such an outcry that he gave in. and moved it back to the last Thursday,
right,
regardless of when that Thursday fell. So nowadays, you can't wait to the last minute, though, and if you're doing it online, because you have to have shipping time. How is online shopping going to compare to
online
in-store?
shopping? Phenomenal.
Really?
Increased 10 to 15%.
This year?
Yes. And that's been happening for the past, 10, 15 years since we've been shopping online. And so online shopping is a huge, huge bonanza for retailers. So even if you're a traditional brick and mortar store, you're going to be pushing for shoppers to go online and shop. And it just has great advantages. And when you think about shipping, a lot of times, a couple days before Christmas, the retailers, the e-retailers are offering the merchandise. They'll have it to your house in a day or two. And so they're ready, they're geared, they know people wait till last minute, and they know that's one of the concerns. And so I think that we're going to see a lot more people shopping online. And another, the trends we're going to be seeing is more apps. Using apps, smartphones as we're shopping. So if you're in the store, like you're in Target, and you're looking and picking up a pair of socks or something, you may get a coupon on your phone, smartphone, that pops up and says, these other socks are on sale. So there's going to be a lot of opportunities for shoppers in the store to help them save some money. Similar to the story that we saw at the beginning of our segment, where the fact that retailers know a lot about us as we're clicking and shopping, but they also know a lot about us as we're actually in the stores shopping as well.
To quote Johnny Carson, I did not know that.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
So,
or was that McMahon who? Oh man, I'm really.
But Ruth Ann, it's a beautiful thing for shoppers because there's opportunities for me to go into an app and make my Christmas list, and that way and then if you're shopping in a store, it'll tell you where exactly the cheapest prices are. So maybe it's not at Target, maybe it's at Kmart, or maybe it's at Sears, and so all I have to do is maybe cross the street or go to another store or go down the mall and get the products.
I got to get me some more apps. Clearly, I've missed the boat here, but it's not too late. We'll come back in a moment and continue talking about holiday shopping with Audrey Gusky here on Pittsburgh Now. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Pittsburgh Now. I'm Ruth Ann Daly. We're talking holiday shopping with Audrey Gusky from Duquesne University, and I now know I need more apps on my phone so I can get those little in-store coupons. I love me my coupons. Who is going to do well this Christmas season, and who's not? Local, our local favorites, who does well?
Yeah, well, we're very fortunate that American Eagle has been doing well and will continue to do well as Dick's Sporting Goods. Okay. Dick's Sporting Goods sales have been increasing significantly compared to other retailers, so that's a wonderful thing for local as well as for consumers to know. Now, as far as national stores that aren't going to be doing well, we've got, of course, JCPenney. I would say they were probably going to be the loser this holiday season.
Why is that? They've changed their whole approach to marketing, and it's not working.
It never worked. They really shot themselves in the foot,
but they had some really terrific designers and upscale merchandise, and then they did like what, I don't remember the exact term, but everyday low pricing.
That's exactly correct.
People want sales.
People want the sales. They said we're going to keep things simpler because about 80% of their merchandise was sold on sale, discounts, and clearances, and it was just too confusing, they thought, for consumers. But no, we're like Pavlov's dogs. We see the word sale and we're running to those racks and those shelves. And so JCPenney will not do well. Kmart is probably not going to do well. Sears is going to be struggling. Best Buy is going to be struggling as well.
Best Buy has been advertising all over the place.
They have been, because they're a little bit concerned, because a lot of people are buying things online, and so they're losing a lot of that as far as shoppers and opportunities. So I think overall, most retailers are going to be struggling. They're going to be fearful, and they're going to be giving us the best bargains and discounts they can.
We don't know which Tickle Me Elmo will emerge, but is it like technology's going to be big?
Right.
Clothing not so much, or what are people spending on?
Well, we typically find when consumers are conservative in their shopping, they tend to buy practical things. So we're going to see things like clothing is going to be very popular, sweaters and those types of things that people can use. Not a lot of the frivolous types of things that you don't know what to do with them. And so we're also going to see technology, of course, being very huge this holiday season. Lots of sales, a lot of discounts on different types of, iPhones, iPads, all those types of merchandise, and for younger kids too.
And in a pinch, you can't go wrong with socks, right? Just buy stuff the stocking with stocking. No. Okay, Audrey Gusky, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, nice to be here.
Today.
Thank you, Ruth.
Great. And
happy shopping to everybody.
It was a delight to have you on Pittsburgh Now. Y'all stay tuned. We will be back in just a moment.